everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jamie. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on today's pantry clean out video. Today I've got another recipe here for you. It is the stuffed crescent, yes, the stuffed crescent chicken casserole. Hold on, let me just turn you around and show you. Oh no, I was close. Stuffed crescent chicken cobbler, that's what it is. Okay, I'm gonna link it down below. This is what we are working with. We have got some of these hash browns with the onions and peppers. You're supposed to have 2 cups of this. I am like running really low on this. I'm not even sure if there's like an entire cup here, but that's okay. It's gonna get thawed and cooked anyway. It's not a problem. What I do have here in my from my pantry, a can of white potatoes. They're already diced, so I'm just gonna mix it in there and pray for the best. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine. I've got a can of cream of celery soup. Finally found a use for this soup. So we're actually supposed to use cream of chicken, but I don't have any. I have cream of celery and I need a reason to get rid of this. So I'm using that. I've got about 8 ounces of shredded cheddar cheese here. I got 1 thing of the crescent rolls. We're gonna use some milk. I've got 2 cups of chicken here and I've got some bacon. I've got to crisp up in the air fryer. Also, you're gonna wanna set your oven to 350 degrees. Let's get started. Okay, while I have the bacon in the air fryer, I've got it my 9x13 and I'm just gonna go ahead and spray this down. And the next thing you're gonna wanna do is set that aside. And then in a medium bowl, we're gonna mix our potatoes. Don't think I actually need to measure the, oh, there's one. Wow, oh, you know what? There's 2. So I actually had exactly enough from this bag. Okay, clearly I can't judge measurements. We'll save this can for another day. So to these potatoes, we're gonna do 1 1/4 cup of milk. 1 1/4. And the soup, which I probably should have done the milk and the soup first before I added the potatoes, but I did not read ahead of time. Oh, I swear, my husband's gonna have a field day with this video. Oh, she didn't read. Shush. And we're going to pour this into our, oh gosh, we're gonna not break things, but we're gonna pour this into our baking dish. We're actually gonna go ahead, throw this in the oven, just like this, uncovered for 15 to 20 minutes. All right, while that is baking, we're gonna go ahead and start on our crescent rolls. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Now I thought this recipe was gonna allow me to use up both things of my crescent rolls, but I'll just have to find another recipe for that one. So we're gonna go ahead, separate the triangles just like this. So starting with the wider end, we're just gonna go ahead, do a little bit of chicken and a little bit of cheese. I've got all my crescents rolled up. Clearly I've got some chicken left, got plenty of cheese left, but we'll just save this for later. I had to spin you around over here. So the potatoes are done. It's looking very bubbly around the edges. So now all we gotta do is put our stuffed crescent rolls, put it down, point side down in the potato mixture. We'll do 4, oh boy, we're sinking. Hopefully that'll matter. We'll do 4 at top, 4 on the bottom. We actually have room for more, but now we're gonna throw it back in the oven, still 350 degrees, we're not changing anything. Back in the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes. Things I get to throw away, the hash browns, the cream of celery, and I can get rid of 1 can of crescents, which go in the trash. So I did 22 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and top this with some cheese. And I've got 8 pieces of bacon that I've already cooked in the air fryer, chopped it up, and so we're just gonna sprinkle the bacon over top. If you have green onions, this would be a great time to add that on here, but we don't have any green onions, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of parsley to make it look pretty. Gonna go back in the oven for 2 more minutes. So I had stuck it back in the oven for 3 more minutes, and then I turned the broiler on just to kind of crisp up the cheese a little bit, and this looks really tasty. This is what is for dinner tonight. All right, everybody. What is for dinner tonight? We are doing the chicken cordon bleu casserole. So what I have going on over here is I've got the rest of this bag of broccoli florets. And if you're thinking, hey, Jamie, wait a second, you already used your broccoli that you had in your refrigerator. That's right, because I actually did go to the grocery store and I picked up a couple of things. I had done a grocery haul, but my editing software is giving me a hard time. So you're gonna get like one big grocery haul for the month of January at the end of the month. So you will see that then, fingers crossed anyway, that my editing software works out for me. So I do have the rest of this bag here of broccoli florets. So we're gonna use that. We're gonna use some Grey Poupon, some mozzarella cheese. I've got the rest, not the rest of it. This is actually only half of the Christmas ham that I had cooked up. So I just thawed this portion out and we're gonna cube this up for this recipe. I've got a box of turkey stuffing mix and I got a cream of mushroom soup. The recipe actually calls for cream of chicken, but this is what I have. It's totally fine. Use whatever you have on hand. What you don't see here is the chicken that I have thawing out in the sink behind me. So anyway, the great thing about this is that you don't have to pre-cook your chicken. So that's like a win-win. So you're actually just going to basically, you're going to start off by cooking this according to package directions, dump everything else into a bowl, mix, mix, mix. I got a 13 by 9 inch baking dish here that I'm gonna go ahead and spray with my non-stick cooking spray. You just want to make sure you're well coated. So you get this ready, and my oven is preset to 375. So here is the recipe. I have been using this recipe for many years. Tried and true recipe, is great when you like I said, if you have like a holiday ham and you're trying to get rid of, and there's only so many breakfast sandwiches you can eat, this is a great way to use that up. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm gonna do is get this going on the stove. So the next thing I'm gonna do is prepare my broccoli. Some of these pieces might have stems that are a little too long. Maybe the broccoli is just, I want it into like more bite size. And so I'm just gonna throw everything into my mixing bowl here. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is take my ham, just gonna keep it together like this, and I'm just gonna cube it up. Okay. All right, into the bowl. Next goes your soup. And just dump it right in there. That's the whole thing. Now about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then we're gonna move on to the chicken. So about 4 to 5 chicken breasts. You just wanna go ahead and cube this up. And yes, you're gonna go throw it straight into the bowl. And don't worry, all of this is cooking together in the oven. So I know the first time I made this, I thought you want me to stick it into the bowl with the fresh broccoli and the ham, just like that, raw? Yes, just like that. And now we could just toss this together all in one big bowl. Added our chicken, our broccoli, our ham, the soup, and the Dijon mustard. We're gonna go ahead and grab our baking dish, dump it all in here. Get it all spread out evenly. Then you're gonna do a layer of mozzarella cheese. So I would give you an exact measurement. I would say a cup, but a cup would not actually, an entire cup would not actually cover all of this. So I don't know, 1.5 to 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. Then once you're done with that, at this point your stuffing should be completely done, already cooked on the stove, sat for 5 minutes. I'm fluffing it with my fork here. Once we get it all fluffed up, we're gonna go ahead and pour that on top. Spread it out with your fork. This is probably the hardest part out of this entire dish, is just getting that stuffing covered. Now it may not be perfectly covered with this stuffing, but that's all right. It's all good. It's gonna cook just the same and it's gonna taste even better. Now you're gonna go ahead and stick this into your oven, 375 for 40 minutes. All right, y'all, so this is how it is turned out. So I've let it sit for about 15 minutes. And just so you know that it is going to be a little on the watery side. The water came up all the way to the edge of the baking dish. That's pretty normal. Just let it sit for just a little while. The water just kind of subsides a little bit. Now it is time to dish up. All right, y'all, so the final recipe for this video, I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and make this enchilada pasta soup. So as always, I'm going to be linking it down in the description box below, but I was looking at the ingredients for this, and I pretty much have everything for this, but I am going to be cutting it in half because this seems like it's going to be making a lot of soup. And it is going to be getting cold. I know by the time you see this video, the cold front has already passed, but I know here in East Texas, it's supposed to get like a high of like 28. So, oh my gosh, we're gonna need like soups on deck. And you know, soups, stews, chili, yeah. Yeah, all those kinds of recipes. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and gather the ingredients and then I'm gonna show you what we're working with. Okay, so here's the ingredients that we're gonna need for this recipe. So we're gonna need, since I'm cutting this in half, I'm only using about 2 and like 3/4 cup of some chicken broth, but I'm all out of the chicken broth in the cartons that I usually get from Sam's Club. So I'm using the last bouillon cube that I had in my pantry. So I'm just trying to get that to dissolve in some water right now. We're going to use 1 can of corn, 1 can of chicken, let's see, 1 can of diced green chilies, a can of red enchilada sauce. I'm going to use the rest of my orzo back here. I used it like 1 time. I've got so much of it left. Now the pasta that you're supposed to be using for this recipe, it calls for that vermicelli pasta. I don't have that, but I have this orzo and I feel like it would just work better for this dish. Like I said, it's an enchilada pasta soup. Yeah, like a spaghetti type noodle just does not sound right for this soup. I don't know. But anyway, for the seasonings, we're gonna need cumin, oregano, salt, and onion powder. We're gonna go ahead and get my, I'm thinking about grabbing my Dutch oven and getting this ready. So I've got my Dutch oven here. It's heating up pretty good. I've got it a little bit higher than medium, not exactly a medium high, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put a tiny bit of oil in here and we're gonna go ahead and saute an onion. Now it does not actually call for this in the recipe, but let's just go ahead and elevate this dish already from the get-go and just kind of saute a little bit of onion. If you want just the smallest amount, I'm just going to do maybe about a tablespoon of oil. I think this onion is just going to add delicious flavor. So go ahead and I'll just saute this for about 2 minutes and then we're going to add our chicken broth. From here, we're just going to go ahead and add in our chicken broth. Now our bouillon cube did not completely dissolve. I'm not worried about it because we're gonna bring this to a roiling boil and it will dissolve then. So don't worry about that. Go ahead and add in your can of corn. Remind me, it might be time to go ahead and replace my can opener because it's getting to a point where it's not opening the cans all the way. Add in your enchilada sauce. This is a 19-ounce can of enchilada sauce. 1 can of green chilies. And now we're gonna bring this up to a boil. This dinner is gonna come together like super fast. After it comes to a roiling boil, all we gotta do is add in our chicken, which is already cooked, our pasta, our seasonings, and then really all we're doing is just cooking the pasta, which is gonna take like about 8 minutes. If you're trying to get dinner together and on the table in less than 30 minutes, this is a good one to have. About 1 teaspoon of cumin, about a half a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of salt, and about a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Now we just let this go ahead and I'm gonna turn that down just a tiny bit. Boy, we're really boiling now. And we're just gonna let this cook for about 8 minutes. More things that I get to throw away. We finally get rid of the enchilada sauce, the corn, green chilies, the can of chicken, and I finally get rid of this. So yay to be able to get through some more pantry stuff. Oh, and let's not forget the box of orzo that has been sitting in my pantry with literally nothing to do for months and months and months. Finally get to throw that away. All right, y'all, this is dinner tonight. I've already taken a taste and this is really delicious. Megan said she likes it too. I will say this is supposed to be a soup, and with the amount of orzo that I have in here, this is not exactly soup, but it is still equally delicious. I would make this again, just with more broth and probably even a little bit more chicken. I'm gonna go ahead and eat dinner. This is actually really good and I highly recommend.